Hello everyone, So Late here, and welcome to our next episode of our Final Fantasy VII Platinum playthrough. Last episode, we were able to get through the wall market, infiltrate Don Corneo's mansion, and get stuck in a sewer somehow. No right answer to any of his questions, so here we are. One thing I'd want to point out right away is there is a boss fight. So go ahead and enter that menu. Even though Tifa and Eris are both on the ground, you can equip Tifa with some of your new equipment and give her some materia. Also, a bonus affinity boost will be given to whoever you talk to first. So, in the essence of this playthrough, make sure to talk to Tifa first, as we're trying to get Eris down as low as possible. Also, ignore that whole back row thing I just did. That was me thinking it was a different boss. It doesn't have any impact here. There is attacks that come from both the front and the back, but you'd rather be doing more damage, and very early on I'll move the characters up front. So this boss is Abs, and he's really easy. He's weak to fire, so just pretty much spam fire with whoever has it, and he can also be paralyzed, so if you have cross slash and you happen to have a limit, if you hit him with it, it'll pretty much paralyze him throughout the entire fight. He also does counterattack whenever you use magic attacks, but not enough damage that you can't heal through. And this is the counterattack I was mentioning, just AoE damage. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it actually does damage to him. And it can also come from behind, and in that case he'll take more damage, and he'll take a lot less. He does have one other attack, forgot the exact name of it. I don't actually think I see it in this run, but it will inflict sadness. It's something to do with, I think it's lick or something to that effect. And what the sadness will do is it'll decrease the damage that you take, but it fills your limit break at a reduced speed. So I personally don't like it because I love getting limit breaks, but if you're doing any type of low level run, or you just need to soak up some damage like an instant protect effect that's on until you cure it, and it stays around after the fights as well, then giving your character sadness is a good idea. And there are items that you can get later that will actually give you that status effect. They're tranquilizers. And that cross slash, as you can see, he kind of stopped moving completely. Granted, he died at the same time, but you'll notice when if he's still alive, that he actually stops. No movement from the enemy type whatsoever, so that's how you know that they have that status effect. Alright, and the game is about to open up with what kind of equipment and items you get. So I'm just checking the quick stats really quick to see who has a higher dexterity. It actually does not matter, even though, so we now have the steal materia. Now you are going to be able to steal items, equipment, etc. that way surpass what you can currently buy in the shop. I'll be showing you that very shortly. There's 2 items that you need to get for a perfect run, and then there's also an equipment, specifically a weapon for Eris that you can get way early on that will trump anything that she can find for the next couple hours of gameplay. But how the steal mechanic works, it's not based on dexterity, even though it happens to give dexterity, so naturally you might think that that's the stat that matters. It's actually just purely based on character level. Now dexterity will make your turn happen faster, but has no effect on the stealing rate. It's all your level compared to their level. And Seal Evil induces status effects on enemies when used. I typically don't use it very often. There's really no need to. But against a big group it might be useful. I usually just stick to Healing Wind myself though. Alright, and now we are out of the graveyard out of the sewers into the train graveyard. There is an enemy here that we will specifically be looking for later, and its spawn rate is pretty abysmal and its steal rate is just as bad. But you definitely want to make sure to steal from them, and I will definitely point that out. Switching all my characters back to the front row. And there's lots of little items to pick up in here. Every single one of these trash cans has an item in it, whether it be a soft, a phoenix down, high potions, ethers. Because we're getting to the point now that our potions are now pretty much being outclassed by high potions. And these enemies you can steal ethers from. They can come in a 2-man formation or a 3-man formation, also spawn, I believe, with 2 other ghosts, which is another enemy type that we'll actually need to steal from for a perfect game. As you can see though, they go down pretty easily. Nothing new about these guys, all pretty easy enemies. Nothing worth noting to steal. Check all the corners. There's at least 2 items in the corners. Oh, and here are the ghosts. These are the enemies that you want to steal from for a perfect game. I'm getting 99 of each item. You can steal ghost hands, and I'm pretty sure this is the only place you can steal them. But you need at least 2 if you want to use the W item trick, which is a materia that there's a glitch essentially that allows you to replicate usable items, not equipment, not materia or accessories or anything like that, but just items like potions, high potions, ethers, mega elixirs. All those types of items you can create an infinite amount, but you need 2 to start. So no matter what, I always try to make sure I can at least get 2 here, sometimes 3 just in case one gets stolen or I get confused and accidentally use one, whatever the case may be. But they are a pain in the butt to kill unless you're using magic, because every type of physical action, whether it be an attack or a steal, causes the ghost to phase in and out. So essentially you have to attack once, wait for its turn cycle, and then you can do it again. And there we go. But they're weak to fire, so just use that to kill them when it's finally time. Oops, missed an item over there on the bottom right. So let's go back and grab that. Now we're just going to move these trains so we can go ahead and proceed. At the same time, I'm also going to be looking for one specific enemy, and that is to steal Eris's striking staff. It's a 2 linked and 2 single slot weapon for materia, and it has decent stats. It actually gives +4 to magic, which it doesn't explicitly tell you that when you equip it, but if you compare stats before and after, you'll that's where it shows up, that you'll see that stat difference, and I'll show you that once we actually get the item. And there's the ghost hands, and then grab a ball is a drop. Just making sure I had 2. And now we're trying to get that encounter. And that encounter, by the way, to find took me about 10 minutes to do so, but this is the guy that you want to steal. He is a pain in the butt to steal from, because he can sleep, and he can silence, and he hits decently hard. The silence isn't so bad to deal with, but if the character with steal gets slept, it takes a lot longer, and this drop rate you're going to see takes quite a while to actually get. Now I will be putting on 3 times speed as well as healing, the healing cheats, which give you full HP, full MP, and full limit with every single attack cycle that happens. And the only reason I'm doing that is so I don't die from something silly, especially with the 3 times speed. Tried to paralyze him, see if that, just speed it up a little bit, but nothing. So we're just skipping everyone else's turn, which is just the triangle button, just so every time Tifa's up, we'll use her steal. Because I do not want to kill this guy by accident. Took long enough to get to him. There it is. There is our striking staff. So now we'll just use the limits that we have. Kill him really fast. And this weapon, by the way, is really good in compare for this part of the game. It has double the attack of her mithril rod, as you can see, and has 4 materia slots. We're not going to be using those materia slots. And this is where I'm showing you this. So, for instance, her magic is currently at 32. As soon as we equip that striking staff, it's going to go up to 36. See, 36 magic. And a 51 attack points now. So we'll just strip all the materia off. There's a couple of reasons for it. A, her attack power is now higher than Cloud's, so it's actually better to have her just physically attack at this point instead of using magic, just because her physical attacks will do more damage on a case-by-case basis now than everyone else's because of that weapon. 2, we're about to lose her in the party, so might as well do it now instead of doing it later, because you might forget. You can earn some AP still before you get your next party member. As you can see, she's doing about 1.5 to 1.6 times Cloud's physical damage, even though she's a lower level. So getting those upgraded weapons much earlier makes well, it doesn't make a big difference, but it definitely helps. Alright, and we made it out of the train graveyard, and now we are back in Sector 7, and it looks like some stuff's going down. There's the shop if you need to buy anything. Those are the tranquilizers that inflict sadness. Hypers do the opposite. They reduce your accuracy, but they actually fill your limit bar faster. Just make sure to run up the pillar, talk to Biggs, Wedge, Jesse as you find them, and you'll get anywhere between 1 and 3 encounters on the way up. It's either essentially 2 combinations. There's 2 enemies or there's 3 enemies, but one of the enemy pairs can also pincer attack you, but it doesn't make a difference. These guys are really simple, and the only thing you can steal from them is a potion. Don't just power through this. Be careful. You want to get into the menu and equip Barrett with some of those goodies that you've gotten, such as the mithril armlet. And also give him any materia if you want it. I'm going to give him cover, just because I've given some of the other stuff over to Cloud. So I'll kind of make him my paladin-ish type character. He typically has a higher vitality stat and HP than the other characters, but at this point, because he's 2 levels lower, he does not. Also threw him in the back row, as he takes decreased damage in the back row, and with cover, you're going to be taking less damage if you do cover, and he has a long-range weapon. And now we got our boss fight. Really simple boss fight. He uses electrical attacks, and he puts this pyramid thing on a character. All you have to do is attack that character and with a physical attack, and it'll break the pyramid, and now that character's free again. And just because he uses electrical attacks doesn't mean that he absorbs them, but as you did see, he did not take very much damage from that lightning attack. While fire did normal damage. So we haven't gotten to use Somersault yet, so how Tifa's limit breaks work is that every limit she unlocks adds another bar to the meter. And each bar, as it goes, gets progressively harder and harder to hit. Yaz and hits. More misses get added to it. So essentially at her final limit break, she'll have 7 bars worth of attacks to do. Which, that might sound like a lot because she has to do 7 hits, but many other characters' limits do many, many more hits than 7. And he does not have anything to steal. Later encounters, without spoiling too much, he ran away, so you do get to find him again later. And when you have other fights with the Turks, they all have items that are definitely worth stealing. Alright, and with that boss, this is going to be the end of the episode. So make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share. Leave any comments down below. And thank you everyone. Have an awesome day. Once again, this is Soul8. So sit back, enjoy the cutscenes and the dialogue, and I'll see you all next time.